Welcome to Space News from the Electric Universe, brought to you by the Thunderbolts Project at thunderbolts.info. Today, we offer a brief introduction to a fundamental theoretical difference between traditional solar physics and astronomy and the physics of plasma cosmology. On the Sun, we are told that magnetic field lines move or merge and frequently break and, quote, reconnect. This process is called magnetic reconnection, a mechanism that many solar physicists claim to be responsible for enormous energetic outbursts from the Sun, such as solar flares. We are told that magnetic reconnection in Earth's magnetosphere is one of the causes of Earth's aurora, and astronomers now envision the process in the magnetospheres of many planets. However, the 20th century's most distinguished plasma physicist, Nobel laureate Hannes Alfvén, admonished astronomers to drop the concept of, quote, magnetic reconnection, since the language confuses cause and effect. Alfvén stated, "Of course, there can be no magnetic merging energy transfer. Despite this, we have witnessed at the same time an enormously voluminous formalism building up based on this obviously erroneous concept." Thunderbolts colleague Dr. Jeremy Dunning-Davies explores the plasma cosmology alternative to the reconnection concept.
The subject is magnetic reconnection. Now, in very simple terms, from what is written, it seems that as far as magnetic reconnection is concerned, one is required to believe that enormous quantities of energy are produced by magnetic lines of force breaking and then reconnecting. Now, undoubtedly, there is some physical process occurring which produces the enormous quantities of energy observed in the situations concerned. But this explanation, at least in its simplest form, cannot possibly be valid, since crucially, lines of force are simply not real. They're not physical entities. Now, in astrophysics, the idea of magnetic reconnection is used to explain some huge surges of energy in, well, for example, solar flares. This point needs to be considered now in the light of what I've just said. But it might be noted that when you take separate magnetic fields and they come together and combine into a single field, the strength of that resulting field will be enhanced at some points and weakened at others. The overall result might be expected to be a completely new pattern of lines of force, due to the totally new magnetic field brought about by the natural merging of the original fields. Again, there's no breaking of lines of force, merely the natural emergence of a new pattern due to the said merging. As for the enormous quantities of energy produced in some physical occurrences, such as solar flares, it seems to me far more likely that the true explanation is to be found within the realms of plasma cosmology, plasma physics, whichever you like to call it. Now, most of the experiments associated with plasmas are performed in normal-sized laboratories here on the Earth. And there's no real reason to suppose the results of such experiments extrapolate to the cosmic scale. But we've got to start somewhere. And it seems that the field of plasma research does offer many good clues to help in the search for the real explanation of such phenomena as solar flares. Now, this is seen quite rapidly by examining the contents of Anthony Peratt's book, Physics of the Plasma Universe. In this volume, well, in chapter 5 of this volume specifically, one reads of double layers and their properties. And in section 5.5 of that very chapter, which deals with the basic properties of these double layers, one reads of the phenomenon of exploding double layers. Now, interestingly, this is a topic discussed also in Alfvén and Arrhenius's book, Evolution of the Solar System. And in that book, on page 250, and I'll quote here specifically from it, they say, if a current flows through an electrostatic double layer, which is often produced by the current itself, the layer may cut off the current. This means that the voltage over the double layer may reach any value necessary to break the circuit. In the laboratory, this could be 10 to the power 6 volts. In a solar flare, it might be even of the order of 10 to the 10th volts. The plasma, however, explodes, and a high vacuum region is produced. Now, all this information, specifically in Peratt's book, relating to double layers, would seem to indicate a more physically realistic explanation of some cosmological phenomena, such as solar flares. Indeed, as far as solar flares are concerned, they are discussed specifically in section 5.6.2 of Anthony Peratt's book. Now, bearing in mind the total physical illogicality of the notion of magnetic reconnection, together with the realization that a physically acceptable alternative is there for all to see and examine, it is difficult to see how the presently accepted position can remain tenable and accepted as yet another piece of scientific conventional wisdom.
For continuous updates on space news from the electric universe, stay tuned to thunderbolts.info.